Hi everyone, it's week 3 and I'm posting this video for you just to kind of give you the highlights of the week. I'll still be posting my announcements as I do before each class session, but I like to at the beginning of the week give you some feedback on the discussion boards and kind of highlight the synchronous class sessions that are coming up and any other important dates or deadlines. So first of all, exhibition labels are due today by 5 p.m. The assignment link is on the left-hand side of Blackboard. You can click on it, upload your final draft to my gradebook in Blackboard, and then I will go ahead and grade them, give you some feedback. I'm not exactly sure how quickly I will get through them. I haven't taught a summer session in a while, so kind of forget how the pacing works, but I will do my best to have them to you at the very latest, the beginning of next week. A couple other things that are happening this week. We're going to have 2 synchronous class sessions with various representatives from museums. For Wednesday, we'll be meeting with someone from the Portrait Gallery, which is convenient since our theme for this week is portraiture and self-portraiture. Then on Thursday, we will be meeting with someone from the Krieger Museum, which is a really interesting little museum up near the Mount Vernon campus. So if you haven't been there before, you don't know anything about it, I'd encourage you to go on the website to get a better sense of what they're all about. So they're coming on Thursday. And then Thursday we will be workshopping the artist statements. I'm going to put that assignment sheet up sometime today so that you have a sense of what you should be completing for that assignment. It's another short assignment, and not quite as short as the exhibition label, but fairly contained in terms of its length. So the turnaround time of now till Thursday should be fairly manageable. And of course, you have from Thursday until Monday to do the revisions that we're going to encourage you, with any feedback that we give you during the session. So those are kind of the highlights of this coming week. The other thing I wanted to talk a little bit about is the discussion boards. As I've said throughout the semester, the discussion boards are our place for conversation, where we can talk about the readings. So you want to post once by Tuesday at 5 p.m., at least once, and then you want to post at least once by Thursday at 5 p.m. I'm going to be going through again and looking at those and saying, okay, check plus, check minus, so that you know how well you did in terms of your participation. One thing that I did notice for this week is that people seem to be talking more in a vacuum, so that they were posting their own thoughts on my question that I had posted, but they weren't necessarily responding to one another. So I felt like I was getting a lot of short response papers on the nature of humor and women's art. And so for this week, I want to really push you all to kind of respond to one another. So engage with one another's comments and posts. And if you need an example from week 1, Erin and Hannah were kind of discussing this idea of gender and kind of the place of gender in society, right? So Erin's post from week 1 prompted Hannah to have a question about that and a comment. That's the kind of discussion that we want to have on the boards for the week. So this week, as we're talking about women combating images that are prevalent in, art and popular culture, obviously you want to respond to that question, but even if, I guess what I'm saying is not everybody has to respond to the question directly. You will receive credit for having responded to somebody else's response. So don't feel like if you're not answering the question directly that you will not be getting credit for the week, because I am looking at, interactions and conversation, not just whether or not you answered the question. A second thing about the discussion boards is I would encourage people to more directly reference the readings. I know last week was a couple of more academic-based readings, which can be a little bit dense and hard to get through. And I think in part that might be why people weren't as quick to reference the things that they had been reading for the week. Um, this is the place where I kind of get the pulse of the class to see if you're understanding readings and what I've distributed. So the more you can reference those readings, the better, right? Then I know people have a grasp of the course material. So that's the second thing I'd like to encourage you to do this week. Finally, before I say goodbye, if you could, prior to our synchronous sessions, kind of brainstorm some questions for our speakers, that would be great, because I do feel like they really want to converse with everyone. And so the more you have prepared to ask them about, the better. So that's why I would encourage you to go to the Krieger Museum website and kind of see what they've got. Their history is such that they have a very kind of traditional and conservative collection. So it might be interesting to ask them about how they are advocating for women artists. They have very few women artists in their permanent collections from what I can tell by their list and from what I've seen in going there. So kind of thinking about that idea of women in art. And then with the portrait gallery, kind of thinking about what could I ask that relates to women and representation and self-representation. The woman who is going to be speaking to us, her wheelhouse, if you will, is portraiture. So any kinds of questions that you might have about that for her would be great. Okay, so dates, deadlines, specifics are all in the syllabus, the weekly plan, the course semester plan, but that's just the overview for the week. Okay, all right, look forward to seeing you all this week.